So the game I examined is one that, at the time of its release, did not exactly have a lot of success. But as the years went on, the game went on to become what is considered a cult classic. The game is La Abadia del Crimen, or the Abbey of Crime, and it was released on retro platforms roughly around the late 80s and early 90s. So the story of how this game came to be was it started in 1980 with an Italian writer by the name of Umberto Eco, and he published a novella called Il Nome della Rosa, and this was a mystery novel set in a 14th century monastery. In this monastery, a monk by the name of Guillermo de Baskerville investigates a series of crimes that are taking place. So the book was pretty successful, and the success of the book warranted a movie release in the year 1986. Um, the movie went by the same name, The Name of the Rose, or El Nombre de la Rosa in Spanish, with Sean Connery in the leading role. So with a big actor like that, it really gained a lot of traction and some popularity. So the movie also, just like the novella, quickly gained cult status. Just like the game quickly gained cult status, and from what I've read, it's aged pretty well. So, following the great success of the novella and the movie, two guys, Juan del Can and Paco Menendez, created the video game La Abadia del Crimen. So, during the era when the game was released, it's safe to say that video games were not taken very seriously, to be quite frank. They were viewed more as like a diversion for small children and nothing more. And this was likely a reason why Umberto Eco, the original author of the novella, didn't want to give the Spaniards the rights to have the same name as the original work, although the plot line of the game does stay pretty true to the original novella, with the exception of certain aspects that they did have to change so that it wouldn't be completely identical. So it's with that being said that this would prove to be a very important game in the history of Spanish gaming. So the game itself, to get into a little bit of the gameplay, it runs for 7 days, and in that time, you must be able to unravel the mysteries that there are in the Abbey. So, right from the get-go, we know we certainly don't have it easy because we have to investigate the crimes based on very subtle clues that the characters around the environment give us. So as someone who's playing this game, you really have to respect the daily routines of the Abbey, the daily tasks, because non-compliance with these tasks will result in an unfinished game, and we're expelled from the monastery. So tasks must be completed, and that leaves very little time for investigating, so you have to be really good about managing your time. The controls of the game can at times feel a bit uncomfortable, but we do have one invaluable piece of help we receive, and that is in the form of our helper in the game, and he gives us indications about our daily tasks, and he basically serves as a guide to get us to the place where we need to be. So one of the things that really amazed me about the game was the system of artificial intelligence which they created. It's really surprised me that as you wander around the monastery, there are these characters that are developing their functions and going about their daily routines autonomously, and if we interact with them at different times of the day, the answers you get from them will be different. So it's really very dynamic in that regard. I found it to be really interesting that the co-creator, Juan del Can, had a prior knowledge in architecture, and that's reflected very strongly in the game design. You can clearly tell he applied a lot of the design concepts he knows from architecture into the design of La Abadia del Crimen. So, while this is a very old game, and nowadays we're used to amazing graphics, amazing gameplay, like using hindsight bias, like yes, there are certainly aspects of the game that hinder the gameplay, but